The Ohio State Buckeyes are becoming a powerhouse.
So the Ohio State Buckeyes have had some massive turnover since winning the national
They've been a
championship.
powerhouse.
Jim Knowles left for Penn State, Chip Kelly went back to the NFL to join the Raiders, and we already found out that Brian Hartline will now be taking over the play calling duties next season, and Matt Patricia was brought in to be the defensive coordinator. And then we also found out that Ryan Day received a massive extension, which are words I never thought would come out of my mouth just 5 or 6 weeks ago, because he had maybe the biggest redemption arc in college football history.
He needed to do all that.
In this video, I want to talk about what these new hires mean for the Buckeyes. I want to talk about some of the up-and-coming talent as well as the returning players, and why this program really is becoming a powerhouse and will be for at least the next decade. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. So I think what we have learned over the last week or so about Ohio State is that no matter who leaves or what happens, they can always bring in a replacement that could be even better than what they initially had. So let's first start off talking about Matt Patricia. He's a longtime head coach in the NFL. He's a longtime assistant of the Patriots.
NFL
kind of had a legendary career there. He's done basically everything there is to do in terms of football. He knows everything. But for Ohio State, I was kind of curious where they would go with hiring after Jim Knowles left, because it seemed like there was kind of a youth movement going on the offensive side of the football. But getting Matt Patricia means a lot. He has a ton of experience, and I think he's going to be willing to try a bunch of different things out.
Yeah, thing is, the only three players that's gonna come back on defense, and this is a defense that Matt Patricia is gonna have to He's never coached college football. He's only done NFL work. So I'm not saying it's just different. College is just different from the NFL. That's just what it is. You just call a spade. But the thing is, you got 3 people that returned from Ohio State that were on this championship team, that was starting on this championship team, getting like actual starters. Caleb Downs, he's gonna be a fucking top 10 pick probably next year. We play through him, but we also got Igman Nosens, who only returned, in my opinion, because of the PIs. He had the most pass interference calls by any corner, by any player in college football by a long shot. So he's gonna have to work on that. And then Sonny Styles, who had a monster fucking playoff run, really showed out. So those are only really 3 big returning players on defense. So you look at that entire line, all gone. We lose everybody off that line. And then just we could play through Caleb Downs because that's what we do. We just go off his instincts and play through him. But man, Matt Patricia, he's gonna have to do a lot of work. And I trust Ryan Day. I trust him, especially now. He got it done. He won the big games. That was the biggest thing about Ryan Day, is winning the big games. He finally did it. But as far as the offense goes, you got Julian Sayin, which I assume is gonna be the starter. If St. Clair wins, that's insane. I don't think he's gonna do it though. Julian Sayin, obviously Jeremiah Smith. Obviously you got fucking Carnell Tate. You got Peoples, who's been ready to fucking get this starting spot for years now, but he finally got it. I'm excited to watch the offense work, but defense is the scary part for me.
He has a ton of experience, and I think he's going to be willing to try a bunch of different things out.
Yeah.
He's going to try some of the concepts from the NFL. He's going to try man. He's going to stack the box and apply pressure with this ultra talent.
But the thing is, Ohio State, we don't got no time to waste, because we face Texas first week of the season.
To D-line,
that's crazy.
He's going to do it all. And the
good thing is Texas a lot of talent on their team too, so it goes hand in hand.
About the new expanded playoff format is that in the regular season, you really can experiment and figure things out. A loss from making a mistake isn't going to bite you in the long run, and it won't ruin the season.
Yeah.
I also really do think hiring Brian Hartline was a great move. In my last video I made about Ohio State, I talked about how the Buckeyes needed to do whatever possible to keep Hartline around because of his recruiting ability. And sure enough, they did. He used to be a wide receivers coach, and he knows how to bring in the best talent year in and year out. And now that he gets...
The thing is, Brian Hartline can be the offensive coordinator, but I'm pretty sure a couple years ago he took over the offense and was offense coordinator. But Ryan Day was basically he was the one calling the shots. So Brian Hartline was just like a name in the place of offense coordinator. So I really don't know how big of an impact he's gonna have. I don't see why he wouldn't expand his role now that we don't got an offense coordinator and he's the one. He should be the main focus, and we gotta work on that defense.
He used to be
so Ryan Day needs to be in that defensive room, fucking locking in week 1.
Wide receivers coach, and
All
he
off
knows how to
season.
bring in the best talent year in and year out.
I'm
And now that
excited,
he
though.
gets to call the plays, I expect him to utilize the talent he brought in. Because I know earlier in the season in 2024, the Buckeyes with Chip Kelly played very reserved. It was like they refused to use Jeremiah Smith and all the talent they had to the max potential they could. But now I expect Hartline to go all out and leave nothing behind. And then for Ryan Day, I think he got the camel off his back. Obviously, he's got to beat Michigan. That is a must. And it took him a while. But I think he now knows what to do.
Must.
It's a pretty...
I said, next year, if we only beat Michigan, I'm happy with that. Like, obviously, don't fucking lose fucking 7 games or nothing crazy like that. But if we miss out on the playoffs or lose first round of the playoffs, don't make the Big Ten game, I'm happy with a Michigan win. That's all I care about now.
Pretty simple formula.
You need to win that game.
He needs to coach with no fear. He needs to make decisions with no fear.
Yes.
He needs to get rid of any sense of being reserved. I don't care if it's 4th and 3 on the 50-yard line. You go for it. I don't care if the opponent has a good defense.
And that's what Urban Meyer was so good at, bro. That's why I loved Urban Meyer, bro. He trusted his players, bro. If it's 4th down, we up 7 and we can extend the lead to 14 if we get this first down. In a sense of like we're on their 47 or something, and 4th and 3, we're going for it every time. Like, I love that about him.
You attack through the air and be aggressive early and often. You get the ball to your best players, because when you open up a game attacking, even if it doesn't work, it forces the defense to adjust. And then that is when later in the game you can break a simple run or screen loose to the house, like we saw Henderson do against Texas in the semifinals. And then player-wise, let's talk about some of the turnover. Obviously, Will Howard is headed to the draft, and so is Jack Sawyer, Henderson, and a few others. But honestly, Ohio State may be even more talented than ever. Some of the returning players include Jeremiah Smith, who had one of the best seasons that college football had ever seen. And if the offense got him more involved in the regular season, he may have actually broken some records. But that's okay.
That's the thing, bro. We didn't run through him or nothing. We didn't feed him the ball. If we feed him the ball next year, it's Heisman, bro. I promise you it's that.
He's got another shot to do so in 2025. Other guys that are returning for more include Carnell Tate. There have been teams trying to do everything to steal him away, but it looks like he's committed. Tate in 2024 was Mr. Reliable. He was often the guy that would come through on big plays because all the attention was on Smith. And he had 733 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Crazy.
Brandon Inniss Jr. is returning, but this season should be his first crack at showcasing his talent. He's arguably the most established prospect in the class of 2023, and he burst onto the scene making plays as an 8th grader down in South Florida and never left, racking up accolade after accolade. He's listed as a wide receiver and will likely get paid one day to catch passes. Well, I guess technically he already does now with NIL, but you know what I'm trying to say. I meant on Sundays. And he could also be labeled as just a straight up alpha, as he's someone that absolutely hates to lose and will do whatever it takes to win. The O-line definitely has some moving parts, but that's completely normal, and whoever ends up out there, hopefully they can take some of the momentum from the end of last season and implement it right away. Behind center, Julian Sayin is projected to be the starting quarterback in 2025, and I'm so excited to watch him play because he has been hyped up for a while now. These were his final stats in high school: 7,970 yards, 86 touchdowns, a 140.6 rating, and an over 70% completion rate. That is absurd, and I'm sure he has been itching to get his opportunity to showcase himself at this level. On the defensive end, there is a lot of turnover, but one thing remains: Caleb Downs, arguably the best defensive player in all of college football, will be back. He's a guy that you can build a defense around, and it's just crazy. Yeah, there is all this turnover from winning a championship, but Ohio State has the best player in all of college football on both the offensive and defensive end. I also am very excited as a Buckeyes fan myself that Sony Styles will be returning. I think he's extremely underrated.
I'm so glad
he's a senior. He's going to be one of the most experienced players on the team and on the field at all times. And in 2024, he had about 50 solo tackles and was just a field general. Anyways, moving on, now let's talk schedule, because things are about to get real interesting right from the jump in week 1. The Buckeyes start out the season in the shoe against the Texas Longhorns. The Longhorns are going to be looking for revenge, and because a week 1 loss won't ruin the season for either team, I expect both teams to go all out and hold nothing back. Should be a very fun game. And following that one is 2 easy games against Grambling and Ohio. Those games will basically serve as a practice to go over what went right.
Damn! So we have 3 straight home games?
Against Grambling and Ohio. Those games will basically serve as a practice to go over what went right and what went wrong against Texas. And then after that, it's Washington on the road. That definitely will be an interesting game. It's hard to travel out west and get a dub, but obviously Washington is not the team they were after Kalen DeBoer left, so that game should be a win. After that is a run of Big Ten matchups.
Damn, we get Penn State at home. That Penn State game. Penn State has never beat Ohio State as far as I've watched them. Even as big as the games are with Penn State and Ohio State, we never lose that game, and that just has you thinking, bro. It could happen, bro. In the shoe, Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, though, I'm pretty confident in, but in regular fucking Urban Meyer, Ohio State fashion, bro, we drop one of them randomly on some stupid shit.
Kalen DeBoer left, so that game should be a win. After that is a run of Big Ten matchups. First is Minnesota back at home, then the Buckeyes will go on the road at Illinois. Usually that is one of those dog days of summer games where it is low scoring, but the Buckeyes grind it out and win by 2 touchdowns, and then the Buckeyes will go on the road to Madison
Nebraska
to face
games.
Wisconsin. And that always creates a tough matchup, but the Badgers have kind of struggled the last few seasons.
Yeah.
And then game number 8 is the second real test of the season against Penn State. Obviously, at this point, Ohio State to James Franklin is like what Michigan is to Ryan Day. It doesn't seem like Penn State is going to break through the wall anytime soon, and Ohio State is just going to have to use that same formula that they've been using, and all should be good. And then the end of the season is actually pretty interesting. It's Purdue, then UCLA, and then the Rutgers, who just seem to never be good, and then
at Ann Arbor, bro. If you win that, bro. UCLA and Rutgers, though, I don't look at it like that. Purdue's a funny matchup.
And it is Michigan and Ann Arbor. The one game of those 4 that I think could be a trap game is UCLA. Because after Penn State, I'm sure all eyes will be on Michigan because everyone knows this team can't afford to lose to them again. But UCLA is a new addition to the Big Ten. They will be looking to make a statement, so that is a game that Ohio State can't overlook. But overall, I expect the Buckeyes to win 11 games. They could go undefeated, but it would be tough not to slip up at all. And honestly, they don't need to be perfect anymore with the new format.
Yeah, bro. That's what I love about the format. I love and hate it, bro. Because it was like, damn, you lose one game at the early season, you gotta win out. That was the whole thing. But if you drop 2, you can still get in there easily. So
I think the Buckeyes are set up to win it all once again, and they have the talent and the coaching to get it done. Let me know in the comments below how you are feeling about all.
And it's just like I look at like teams like Alabama, and they're like, damn, bro, they dropped 3 games. I don't know if they dropped 2 or 3 games last year, but it's like, damn, you don't gotta be invincible no more to like get into the playoffs and like look invincible.
All this new coaching that was brought in. I know I didn't get too deep into things in this video. I'm saving that for closer to the season.
Yeah.
But thank you all so much if you made
bro, it's only February. I'm so hyped, bro.
Video. And if you haven't yet and enjoyed, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.
Because I've been a powerhouse your entire life, literally. Just depends on perspective. They have had the most talent, but this was the first championship I've got to watch where I knew what was happening. I don't know about that. Like, if we're talking powerhouses, it's Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State, in my opinion. Clemson, I wouldn't even put Texas in there. Oregon, Clemson, Oregon. What else? I guess like a Penn State type shit, where they're like on the tier 2s of this powerhouse. Yeah, he's still the wide receiver coach. Yeah, facts. That'd be good though.